Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here once again with another video, and this is going to be another Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle themed video I'm going to put out. Obviously I do the episode reviews and I've reviewed some of the action figures, and this is going to be my first, I suppose, Lego Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles review. But it's also going to be a bit different in that I'm going to build this on camera, talk about stuff, the show and other stuff while I'm doing it, so it's going to be a pretty interesting video hopefully. First time I've ever done something like this, build something on camera. But anyway, the reason I'm doing this now is because today, February 15th, was the release date of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Lego in Ireland and the UK. So this is really the first opportunity I've ever had to actually pick up this stuff. I actually picked this up yesterday from Argos because they released it a day early for some reason. And this, of course, is the smallest set from the line. I just really want to kind of test out what it's like, so it's the cheapest set, just to see, like, should I collect more and stuff like that. But anyway, here we go. This is the Krang's Lab Escape. Obviously, you get Michelangelo, Krang in a kind of a thing. You get a little prison, foot soldier, and a pizza slice thing. There's the back. There's some action features with the set. Little comic, as you can see here. So definitely kind of in theme with the show, Mikey being the kind of Joker one, uses pizza to trip them up. But anyway, let's open this up. I should probably mention, actually, while I do this, that I'm pretty much finished with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles action figure line from Playmates, because I got, you probably saw the review and that I really did like the figures, the turtles, and I said, like, I'd maybe get a few to review them. Well, I got Shredder for Christmas, and he really soured me on the rest of the line with his severe lack of articulation, so unless something really interesting comes out, I'm not going to continue with that line. May get some of the Lego depending on how this plays out, but anyway, we'll put the box away, and here's what we get. So we have the instruction manual, basically how to build it, and I'm pretty sure there's also alternate building instructions where you can actually build Mikey in a kind of a hovercraft type thing. It's kind of like I believe the Lego website calls them like Donnie's like inventions. So there's like pretty much, you can build one Donatello invention for every set, which is pretty interesting. Just two bags of things. One bag with the smaller bits, and then one bag with the bigger bits, and most of the minifigures. So let's just move the camera down. It's going to be a bit awkward, but let's see. What am I going to look at? Let's open them here. Pour them out. Try not to spill everything all over the place. I've actually been fairly excited for this Lego stuff. I haven't really looked up a whole lot about it, but I know kind of what the turtles look like, and they seem like fairly interesting Lego figures. So that's pretty cool. Just open this bag. So there's the Krang, and it's not made out of kind of really flexible plastic, but it's quite nice. It looks pretty cool. No obvious Lego brick thing. You can obviously go on a Lego character's head. But anyway, let's see what the instructions say to do first. Let's see. Basically, make Michelangelo his weapon, make the foot soldier, and then make the Krang. Okay. So Krang goes here, and you know, I'm reasonably into, I suppose, kind of building block sets. Not so much Lego. I get a few of the kind of more licensed sets when they come out. Oh, so that's what it clicks onto bricks with. Okay. Mikey's head, disembodied head of Michelangelo. Okay. So yeah, I have some sets from Lego, Creo, and Mega Bloks. I'm in like Mega Bloks for the Halo stuff, and Creo obviously for Transformers. So well, that's pretty cool. Now, where on earth is the shell? Here we go. And then put Mikey's head on. So like, anyway, so I definitely, I suppose, like Lego the least because of the minifigures mainly. They're not as kind of interesting with the way their articulation is done. But I actually do like the way they've done this because they haven't just done a standard minifigure head like say this. They've actually have like it's sculpted with like detail and stuff like that. It's still kind of the same attachment at the bottom, but it's pretty cool. The shell piece at the back is also really interesting. So he's actually pretty cool. And then let's just make his nunchucks with these brown bits here. So many little bits with these sets, just kind of hard to pick up. Let's see. And then these go in here like that. So I guess that makes an okay nunchuck. It's nothing amazing though. Just put it in his hand. Yeah, it's not great. The chain is unbelievably massive. So overall, he's a pretty cool figure, and I definitely would like to get Leonardo, but the problem is he's in like the most expensive sets, so that's most likely not going to happen. But anyway, let's move on. Foot Soldier. These guys did not even have a chance in the show on Nick, because like usually with the way they do it in those type of shows is that they're amazing for like the first episode and they beat the turtles, but that didn't even happen in this show. They were just beaten outright from the start, and most likely will never put up a fight against the turtles in the whole series. Wow, this doesn't seem to be wanting to go on. There we go. Kind of a mace thing for this guy, and he's pretty cool, I suppose. I suppose from coming from the perspective of an Avatar fan, he looked reasonably equalist-like. I suppose this would be like probably the best thing to make an equalist Lego figure out of. So they're cool. So there's the 3 minifigures you get with them. Pretty cool. And you could put Krang on top of their head. And obviously, since that's a kind of headpiece, basically, you could take out that bit and like just put the whole Krang over someone's head, which is pretty nice. But I like the turtles. So now let's go into the actual build. And coming back to the whole thing of kind of Lego versus Creo versus Mega Bloks, it's definitely kind of a thing where like Lego is probably the highest quality, then Mega Bloks, and then maybe then Creo, and then Mega Bloks. But in terms of like accuracy and like playability, Mega Bloks probably wins out, then Creo, then Lego, because of the way the minifigures are. Just as a brief demonstration, I have some of them here. Like let's see. I'll just go with him. So we have here obviously Michelangelo Lego figure, Halo Spartan Grenadier, whatever. Mega Bloks figure, and then a Creo Blue Streak figure. Now, obviously, the most accurate is the Halo figure because it's pretty much a fairly accurate to the kind of games and stuff like that. Spot on. It's not even really that much Mega Blocky apart from the hands and the pegs on the feet. But as you can see, he's got ball joints in the shoulders, hinges at the elbows. While Lego figures, all they can do is move the head side to side because of the way the head goes on. Hands up and down, hands, and then the legs out. The legs are really disappointing on Lego figures for me. While with him, he has like a waist joint, leg joints and stuff like that. And then Creo kind of come in just in this nice place in the middle, in between both of them, where they've got the kind of similar legs, but you can get more posability out of them because it's a ball joint, which is nice. And then the same at the shoulders, it's ball jointed shoulders. And I just thought, and obviously the way the waist connects, you get a little waist swivel. So I think Creo are probably my favourite of the Mega Blok figures. That could be just because I have a bigger attachment to Transformers than Halo or Turtles, but I think these are the best type of figures. But obviously I think Lego tend to kind of keep their figures this way because of that's what the fans of Lego like, the figures all kind of more or less being the same. But I think that improvement could be done. But anyway, let's get on with this build. We start. Just fix the camera angle down a bit more. I'm not one for really sorting out things that much. This is mainly what I do. I just kind of move most of the bigger bits out of the way so you can get a look at the smaller bits. That's mainly what I do. But anyway, we start off with this and then attach this onto the end. Then we get these two bits. I always find building these kind of Lego things very relaxing. It's going to be different talking through a whole one, but anyway. As I said, the main reason I got this set was mainly just to test out to see what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Lego is like. I really don't think I'm going to get like many sets. Mainly because Lego is quite expensive. It is definitely the most expensive building block brand, and as I mentioned, I don't really like the minifigures that much. That said, this Michelangelo figure is nice, and to have all four turtles would be good. But you know, Leonardo and Raphael are really only in the especially Leonardo is only in the two most expensive sets, and I really don't want to have to get them. But anyway, you can sort of see kind of this. This is the prison bit, I think. Maybe coming together. Let's see, turn around and then slide on these bits here. And you know, as I've talked about, you know, the show, I do like the show. It's not my favourite show on TV at the moment because, you know, I have my problems with it, as I've explained in the reviews. But it's a high quality show. That you just have to say that about it. But definitely Korra is my biggest, I suppose, passion, I suppose, in terms of their shows. As probably evidenced by me being on an Avatar podcast, hosting that, being a head moderator on a Avatar fan site, and mainly, I suppose, on YouTube being known for Avatar videos. But, you know, I like a lot of different things like this. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, obviously. I probably should actually do a video showing off my Transformers collection. It's pretty big. Because I haven't really talked that much about my Transformers fandom, I suppose, that much. That Transformers comic review is going to happen at some stage. It'll probably be next week at this stage. It's just there's been a lot of delays in comics recently, and I've kind of been focusing on that more than kind of actually going ahead with a review. Right now, this currently isn't really looking like anything that I'm seeing on the box. I assume that now I'm actually building the Krang thing because of some of the upcoming steps in the instructions, but I'm not quite sure. Big plate goes on next. That's a kind of interesting build thing. They gotta set it up so this all comes here. Yeah, no, I definitely will kind of probably pull this apart after I make this and build the alternate one from the building instructions online. It's a pretty cool printed piece, a little kind of readout thing. And there's another one somewhere. This is always the kind of funny thing, with Lego, especially when you have the bigger sets. Like, one instruction maybe early on is going to ask you for the smallest piece in the whole set, and you've just got 500 pieces around you, and just where is that one? And you just spend 20 minutes looking for it just to find it in front of you. That's obviously the worst thing that happens when that happens. But there's some really interesting bits, I suppose, in this. Looking at it, a lot of them these clear, greeny, yellowy, transparent bits are it's a cool color for Lego. Yeah, and in terms of my Lego stuff, and that I mainly just build them for the models. I never overly modify kind of stuff. In terms of taking bits apart, building my own creations, MOCing or mocking as it's called. I never really do that. Leave that to the pro Lego people. But as I said, when I finish building this, I'm going to kind of compare it to Creo and Mega Block sets of similar sizes, and kind of go more into that, I suppose, than just what I feel about the different building block brands. Next, get these kind of curved bits coming on the sides. It's definitely kind of one of those things. I always look at the, I suppose, toys, building block stuff like that from an engineering perspective, just because I'm kind of interested in that sort of thing. I definitely kind of, when you see kind of how this comes together, you can sort of kind of tell like, oh, the guys at Lego are kind of pros. Like you can tell like the way it's built up, using pieces, like the way this was set up, like that you have this thing and the purple bit goes on the side, which then is what you put the curved bits over to give it a better look and all that sort of stuff. But next is the missiles. Let's see. Here we get this bit here. Put a purple stud on the front. And I suppose the big thing from looking at these sets is that I really hope they do make a Lego Turtles Lego game. That would be really cool, because I've just been playing the Lego Lord of the Rings, and that's been really good because they use, at least now, they seem to be using in Lego games audio, like voice actors and stuff like that from the movies in Lord of the Rings. Like using some of the lines from the show in the game would be really cool, because you know it's fairly humorous, I suppose, already in the show. So like it wouldn't be that big of a kind of leap going to make the humor kind of more Lego-y humor. So that's pretty cool. That would be a cool idea. I believe there is a Lego game from, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Nick game coming out from Activision. I just saw that announcement. I don't think nothing's already confirmed yet, but yeah. Now here's what this giant bubble bit is like. Looks like they definitely couldn't make this out of Lego sphere, but let's see. Goes on. It's pretty cool. Then we put the Krang guy in here. I wonder like if this thing actually going to show up in the show. I don't specifically remember them ever being in something like this. Usually they're just in their kind of Krang droid bodies, or the kind of more human looking ones. But anyway, we'll build a stand now using some of these bits. Okay. Lego builders out there are probably looking at me like, what way are you building this? The parts aren't organized and all this stuff, but I suppose you get a bit longer maybe out of the build if you don't organize it. But anyway. I suppose while I'm continue to build this, I'll move into a bit of Avatar talk. News of late, I suppose, has been that Nick Upfront is confirmed to be taking place. 2013 is confirmed to be taking place on February 26th, and basically what that event is, it's that it's going to that's the place where Nick basically plan out their next season of programming. So we found out the air date of Korra Book 1 at Nick Upfront 2012, and everyone is speculating that that's going to be where we get the Korra Book 2 air date. It seems the perfect place for them to do it, make a big deal about it. Most of the big news sites are going to cover that event, so it's going to get news out there that Korra is going to be back on this date. Not confirmed yet that it's for sure going to be at that event, but like unless they're gonna like their show has really been delayed, that's going to be where they announce it. And they'll also, I suppose, confirm more of the Turtles kind of airing schedule when it's going to finish its season and all that sort of stuff. Okay, turn it upside down, then put this bit here. I see, and then that bit links in here. It's pretty cool the way it goes through this brick. I didn't even notice that when I put it on that there's actually, this brick has the holes through the middle. just so it's for this. That's interesting. I've never seen that in a Lego set before. But let's see what this is about. That's pretty cool. The Krang guy is finished. And obviously the kind of thing is like it's a walker, and then this bit obviously pops off to become more of a kind of flying platform thing for it to be on with the missiles. Kind of a very interesting design. I actually wanted to appear in the show now. But anyway, the next bit is the prison for Mikey. Which makes me wonder, is Mikey actually going to get captured in the show? Because usually the Lego sets of these kind of branded things do actually follow the show in some way. That's an interesting Lego bit I've never seen before. 4-stud tile with bits that link into the side. It's cool. This is obviously for the gimmick that kind of is on it. Then this links in here. This goes here. But coming back to the Avatar news, obviously that Nico Prunt is probably where we're going to get the release date. Korra got no nominations for the Kids' Choice Awards 2013. Two, I suppose it was. A lot of people assumed it was going to get nominated for would have been Best Cartoon and Best Villain, but it didn't get nominated for either. And I know myself, I am very I suppose kind of a bit confused as to why the other so many shows kind of beat it out when. I believe the nominations were like Phineas and Ferb, SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, and Tom and Jerry, the new Tom and Jerry show. Now, none of those shows really have, I think apart from Phineas and Ferb perhaps, have, I suppose, continuity or serialized stories. So you can sort of take it that okay, they're very much going for the more shows aimed at kids. Korra, Avatar is a bit more complicated. That said, I don't really like that kind of excuse because Avatar did win the Kids' Choice Award for Best Cartoon in 2008, so it's not that the show is just going to get completely ignored. So I don't really take that as that big of an excuse. I think Korra just plain is better than SpongeBob. Maybe you could have made an argument for SpongeBob a while ago, but not anymore. No way. Same with Fairly Odd Parents. Best Villain, I was just completely baffled with. The only one on the list I would probably agree with being there was Loki from the Avengers. But you had an iCarly character as a villain, which can iCarly even have villains by the way it works? Simon Cowell from the X Factor is classed as a villain, and I'm just oh, Amon, why you must feel so angry about not being nominated there. That's just the biggest snub ever. But anyway, I suppose it just would have been nice to see the show get nominated because Nick kind of have forgot about it since it stopped airing. And it would have been nice to know that it got the nomination and that they really are thinking well of their show. It's even more baffling when you keep in mind that, yes, it's their best show. It's also their highest rated show in years, and they're still not doing much with it in terms of treating it well. And it's the same with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what this Lego set is from. That didn't get any nominations either. That didn't get nominated for Best Cartoon when it perhaps maybe should have. So that's another confusing thing as well. So many odd moments. And another piece of news, I suppose, would be just that Brian on Tumblr basically did this kind of interview thing with one of the kind of a storyboard artist, and he's just been promoted to a kind of assistant director on Korra, and his name is Owen Sullivan, and they along with that kind of interview thing, he posted 2 of Owen Sullivan's storyboard pieces from book 2, which are pretty interesting in that they show Korra, Asami, Jinora, and Bolin kind of eating kind of rice at a table. It looks to be maybe Air Temple Island, or it could possibly be like somewhere in Republic City. But I suppose the interesting thing for that is that Korra is still in her book 1 design. So it appears as if maybe this show will start maybe with a kind of not 6 months on and then go to 6 months on later. But and then the other one is of Milo going to smash a plate seemingly on the other side of the table. But yep. And that right there is the kind of finished model of this set. Give Mikey the pizza slice to hold, and it's perfect. And I think Mikey's meant to be in here. Ah, Lego falling apart. Ah! That's just the thing, it's a bit fiddly because of the kind of gimmick they're going for here. Okay, Mikey doesn't seem to fit in here that well, but let's see. Okay, I'll take the weapon off him and this stuff off him. And put this back on. And then this on. Now there's actually a good few bits not used in the set. No, not a good few. There's an extra lever bit for some reason, and an extra dial piece, which I assume that many Lego fans who just like new pieces will enjoy that. An extra bit from the nunchuck, and then an extra purple stud, which I might as well just pop on the top of here. Now, let's see what this does. Supposedly this gimmick with Mikey in his cell is meant to work. Let's zoom in on this, kind of put it at an angle. It's meant to press down on the back, and something is meant to happen. Mikey is standing on the edge of this thing, so I assume this whole section is going to pop off and Mikey's going to maybe fly out, but let's see, hold it down. That was actually pretty impressive. Look how far the thing went away and Mikey's kind of dead on the ground. But it's pretty fun, I guess. Mikey on his own. The model is pretty impressive, I suppose. I'm definitely going to make the other model because I think that looks a lot better. It's kind of Mikey's kind of sewer hovercraft thing. But anyway, I'll finish with that. There we go. There's a finished set. It's a nice set, I think. It was a €13.99, so it's I think $10 a set or something like that. 2 minifigs basically, 2.5 I suppose if you count the Krang as a minifig. But we're all pretty nice, I think. The one thing I dislike about these building block sets is that, like, some of the, I suppose, maybe gimmicks related to it, and maybe some of the stuff that requires you to like rebuild, ask you to take it apart, and then it's just kind of very difficult to take it apart. You're gonna have to use a brick to take it apart. We're not really gonna be able to get this off, I don't think. I assume because it's kind of rubbery plastic I will be able to get it out at some stage, but would have liked to shown off the gimmick, but anyway, 2.5 minifigs, and the Krang kind of walker slash spaceship is reasonably cool. Some nice parts like this. The kind of prison itself is, I suppose, fun for what it is, and that there's a gimmick in it for like the few amount of pieces that's used. But I kind of don't like the way these bits are only stuck in by like a peg. It doesn't seem like a very sturdy prison. Nike is brilliant, you know, you get the pizza piece. Foot Soldier is okay. You know, I would have preferred obviously more turtle figures, everyone would, but pretty nice. Now that comparison I was going to talk about. Let me just set up these guys. And then this. And let me just locate the correct minifigure. There he is. There we go. So as you can see here, there's Lego set for the $13.99 price point, Halo Mega Block set for the $13.99 price point, and then Creo set for the Transformers Creo set for the same price point. These all, I suppose, roughly have the same amount of pieces, but are obviously three different building block brands. Now, coming to this set, you see you get basically 2.5 minifigures, if you really want to be specific about it. With this set, you get, I suppose, 2.5 as well. You get John 117, you know, Master Chief, and a kind of mini Cortana thing. The Spartan I have in the cryo tube is just another one I happen to have and put in there. And you get a few weapons, and it's just a nice playset of like one of their early scenes from I think Halo 4. And it's quite nice in that it like really fits into the universe of this, while this, as far as we know, hasn't actually happened yet. Coming to Transformers Creo, you get two Kreons, as they're called, Kreo minifigures. You get Mirage, who's the Transformer, basically. You get a race car driver to drive, Mirage, and obviously this is Mirage in vehicle mode. If you take this apart, you can build it in robot mode. But I just leave it like this because it looks nice. And in terms of minifigures, as I mentioned, I think Lego has to come out last. They have better, I suppose, some better brands, like they have Star Wars, they have Marvel, and they have Turtles. But I don't like the kind of way the minifigures are done, that there's no articulation really in the hands, arms, apart from up and down, and then the legs are just pretty much useless kind of in a way. Then you have Halo figures which are really accurate, and they're probably not the same quality as them, but they take more risks with the ball joints and all that sort of stuff, so major respect for that. And then you have the Kreons, which are probably my favourite, because you know they kind of have that not overly realistic, just kind of cute versions, I suppose, of Transformers, with decent articulation. Like a Lego figure can't do that, but a Kreon can. And there's some really interesting like parts and stuff like that. The waist joint is nice. In terms of the models style things, most of the Kreon sets are just kind of this. You get some of the Transformers, some human figures to drive the vehicles that you can build and stuff like that. And then these two are more playset styles. But you know, overall, I think they're all three are kind of good. Like it really just depends on like what brand you like. If you're like Turtles, Star Wars, you'd probably go for Lego. If you like Halo and like World of Warcraft, you're probably gonna go for Mega Bloks. If you like Transformers, you're probably gonna go for Kreon. But I definitely think Kreons are my favourite. And you know, if I ever see some of the Turtles Lego sets for kind of cheaper, that probably would be something that I'd be interested in getting. Definitely want to get a Leonardo minifigure at some stage, but who knows. But anyway, that's been my review slash build of the Krang lab escape slash talk about many things. It's been probably horrendously boring for you, but it was a fun way for me to build this set, and it's kind of something I'd planned as well, so it kind of turned into a review of this set and also a comparison between the three leading building block brands. But yeah, look out for, I suppose, in terms of videos coming soon, Transformers comic review of the kind of most recent series. I'll also maybe do a video where I show off some of maybe my favorite Transformers, not just my whole collection. And again, the Avatar: The Last Airbender episode commentaries will continue to come out and stuff like that. But thank you for watching this video, and bye. Hope you enjoyed it. And here is the alternate build of the Lego set I was just doing. You can find the instructions on the Lego website, though I think the link is broken. But if you just kind of Google Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Lego alternate build instructions, I'm sure I'll find them. Obviously, I've altered it a little bit from the actual instructions, adding a few bits so it uses up more of the pieces. But still, it's a pretty interesting kind of little kind of sewer glider hovercraft thing. Uses up a decent amount of the pieces, just not that much left, but it's pretty cool. I'm gonna keep it like this and then try and do something with the other pieces left. But just wanted to show you all what that one was like.